we don't mention those things that we may have done, that may have happened. Good evening, everyone. It is SFMF Live. We'll give everybody a few minutes to get on board. We just had a little pre-flight. Remember, for the members, we do a little pre-flight. The clown show that goes on behind the scenes as we get ready for lives. And here's the main reason, and that's what I use that excuse all the time. If I had a studio and if I could just sit down and the cameras and everything's already set up, that's great for those people that can do that. But we're on the move, right? As you can see, we're moving, not moving.
What's it called? Whoopee? What's it called? The backdrop?
The whoopee, right? Poncho liner. Because I'm in a dungeon and I may need help.
Easy.
I'll let you know. But welcome, everybody. It is Sunday. Again, it's been a crazy month already. We're more than halfway through the month.
When does time get to settle down?
Yeah, when does it settle? When does that dust really settle? I don't know if it ever does. But then again, would we want it that way? I think as Marines, we're used to it. I had another checkup. I saw a new doctor. I had to introduce myself and go over the same BS that you got to go over every single time. They ask the same dumb questions. They're not dumb questions. The same scripted questions that they're reading right from someone. They go to school for 12 years to read a script to a veteran. So it's a little annoying at times. Like some person, and even the questionnaire filled out online. And that's where we. Why do you always mess with the sound? Check 1 2. Check mic. 1 2. What are you doing? Did you put on do not disturb or anything?
Are we good?
Are we good? 5 by 5. Sound check.
Oscar Hotel.
Oscar Hotel.
That's for not.
Close.
Stop.
Yeah, we're good.
I think so.
If I say it like this. So, again, just went to a checkup, a new VA office, and you got to go through the same stuff all over again. Ask a million questions, fill out surveys, write them out. This one was different. Again, today's day and age. After I checked in, they said, have a seat right there. And then my phone did go off, but I'm in the doctor's office. I'm not going to be rude and be on my phone while I'm in the doctor's office. And the nurse came by. He said, well, did you get the text? I said, oh, I think so. I felt something. He said, did you fill out the survey? I said, I haven't even had service yet. I'm not going to fill out the survey until we're done. He did his part. He checked my vitals, and then now I'm standing by. And he kept walking, and I went in the doctor's office, and she said the same thing. Did you fill out the survey so we can start your appointment? Again, nobody mentioned anything about it, and maybe I should have known. Did you all know that? Is it because I'm a new patient? Whatever. And I was doing it while she was doing something, playing a game. And as soon as I was done, she's like, oh, I see you're done with your survey. We were just sitting a foot apart from each other, and we were doing stuff electronically already. Starting off weird. And then she said,
so sorry, people.
You still messing with the sound? So then she said, according to this survey that you just filled out, you are, and she started telling me how I felt. I was like, well, I mean, those are one weird questions. And the choices of answers aren't, none of them really had to get closest to how I felt right then. And none of them were spot on. So she's like, oh, I know, it's just something that we have to do. Why? If you don't agree with it, you're the doctor, you think it needs to be fixed, leadership. All boils right back to leadership. You're doing it because this is how we've always done it, right? Or it's a new system and this is how we do it now. Whatever the answer, if it's not working, fix it. Because the computer's assessment of me was not how I felt. But she had to go off of that. So it just wasn't horrible. I've been to worse appointments, so it wasn't bad. And we'll see. Now, because of that survey, I got a whole bunch of follow-up appointments. So I didn't answer it right. But when in doubt, Charlie out. I just put C on every one of them. Just tired of reading them. Not really. That only works in high school. And even then. All right. Are we ready? I cannot see the comments, so I'm going to rely on the producer.
I'll just share the comments.
So I don't know who's here. Is Jordan here?
Yes.
Jordan always gets motivated when he comes on. He motivates me. Good to see you. Jordan, Menachem. We talked a little bit prior to. Menachem's grandfather is still in the hospital, from what we gathered. He's going to therapy after. Still praying for Grandpa Menachem, 100%. David Bryant, we have concerns over. We haven't heard from him in a little while. We hope he's back soon. And anyone else that needs any kind of blessings, when I do pray and name people specifically, of course, family, always, and anyone in the SFMF community that needs prayers, God, please lift them up. Stuff like that. Faith over fear, and I know it's a common phrase, and there's Bible verses that relate to it right away, or relate directly to it. But that one, and again, it's from a podcast we watch, PBD, Patrick, Bet, David, very good. And he's got a great crew, very intelligent guys. And one of them has spent a long time designing the shirt, which I hope to get one day, is maybe birthday or Christmas coming up. Just designed it, and it has the same faith over fear on the back. On the front is just a cross. And he designed it. I really like how he did it, because it looks like you're wearing a cross necklace. And then the faith over fear is on the back. Then I started thinking about the faith over fear quote. And I don't remember which Bible verse. I was listening to it while I was driving, so I don't remember which Bible verse he used to put underneath faith over fear. But how powerful is that? Such a small phrase, sentence, if you will. Faith over fear. Which was watching the celebration of life for Charlie Kirk all morning. And that's really what kind of he embodied, is faith over fear. What one thing you want to be remembered by of all the things he did in his life is his faith. That's what he wanted to be remembered by. So pretty interesting, faith over fear. And does it mean, again, back to, we talked about courage on Wednesday. All Marines have courage. All right, we're all, you don't scare me. But it's a different kind of fear. And that's in your faith. During that celebration of life, I don't know if any of you watched it, 100,000 people there. And talking to the crowd, whoever was at the podium at the time said, I need you all to stand up. Who else, what other venue can you get 100,000 people to listen to this? I guess maybe a rock concert or something when they're all screaming. But he's talking about faith over fear, how these guys have all now, since working at Turning Point, completely changed got rid of their fear of faith, right? And do talk about it publicly, and can have a conversation, have an intelligent conversation. There's life lesson, young men and women, if you're out there, certain things you don't talk about in public. Race, religion, sex, right? Business. I said 3, but there's, over the years, I've added some. Just some you don't publicly talk about because you don't, especially if you're in a meeting. But I always tell young men when I do talk about it, you don't bring those subjects up, but be able to carry on an intelligent conversation if someone does. Because if you're in a business meeting or you're in a job interview trying to get a job, and your interviewer says, well, how you feel about, and he gives you a religious-based question, you can't say, well, I don't talk about religion with people, with strangers I don't know. So at least be able to have a conversation about it. And I think that's the part of faith over fear that struck me, is be able to talk about it. You don't have to say, well, I'm this religion and I don't care about it. You don't have to give any kind of bias towards it. Just be able to have an intelligent conversation. Be well read, if you will, on all those subjects, even those ones you don't talk about in public. So interesting day today so far. Are you on it?
Yeah, a few more people have showed up. Old Irene is here.
Old Irene, Randall Knapp, Ray from Queens,
None Your Business.
None Your Business,
Carrie Ann Marie.
Carrie Ann Marie, Carrie Ann Marie, Carrie Ann Marie Potts. What else? Topics today. Again, those of you just joining us, we did our pre-flight just prior to this, about 10 minutes prior to the show.
Doc was here for a split second. We had to dip out.
Doc's here and gone. He checked in. He's working.
Jordan was here, or
Jordan's still here. Eric S. is here.
And Menachem and Terry Donikowski.
Carrie Donikowski. Just come around. Can you come around? Carrie Ann Marie, tell her just because she can see the comments from over there. All right, here's a quick what we're going to talk about today. A couple of subjects. What about John McJunkin? Is his crew here yet? And to keep it live and motivated, but starting out with boot camp, there's going to be some graduations coming up from high schoolers that entered right after high school. So graduations are happening from some of those guys and girls that just went after. One of the top subjects right now in boot camp is, of course, and we kind of talk about it all the time, is boot camp softer now? Is it harder or easier now than it was for the old Gyrene guys, right? Has it changed over the years? And we talk at length on that. And yes, it has changed. It changed with society. Mental health is an issue, and they've implemented some stuff where older generation might say, oh, we didn't have that back in my day. Why do they need that? Are they softer? I don't know if harder or softer is the correct terminology for it, but they're different. Just like every time a leader goes to a new organization, every 18 months to 3 years in all the military, and the new guy or girl coming in, you're like, man, I hope he's as good. I hope he's better. You know what you would like in a leader. And then when I would check into a new duty, he says, oh, our last sergeant major, our old first sergeant used to, and compare me to the last one. You shouldn't compare your leader to the last one. Here's what I always tell my units. First thing, as soon as I check in, I'm not better or worse than your last sergeant major, but I am different, whether I knew him or not. It didn't matter, or wasn't going to be, nor would I ever try to be exactly like your last sergeant major. That's what you should expect from all your leaders. Now, there's been times in my career I was like, man, I hope our new commander is better than the last one. And vice versa. Man, we're losing a great commander. I don't know if this guy can step up to the plate. But just know that as a leader, you shouldn't try to be anyone else. That's when you guys say, I want to be just like you one day. No, I don't want you to be just like me. I want you to be better than me. That's the leadership side of leaders aren't making great followers. You're making leaders that are going to replace us one day. So all those things take place, and it does evolve over the years. Right, a company gunny, I'll never forget. He was an old Vietnam guy. We were young Marines in the field, freezing our butts off. It was raining, I'm sure, every single day we were out there. And one of the Marines had the courage to say, hey, Guns. We could call him that then. Or he rolled up in the vehicle. He's like, oh, Gunny, you got hot coffee in there. And this Gunny went off. I didn't get no damn hot coffee when I was in Vietnam. We were freezing. I don't know. You think you are just going off on how miserable his life was because he didn't get hot coffee. And all I could do is sit there and listen to this Marine get his butt chewed for asking for something that would make our life better. But the answer was, I didn't get it when I was a Lance Corporal, so you ain't getting it. What a poor sense of leadership is that. That should be your 100% motivation to get coffee for the next generation or the next evolution of everything I tried to do as I grew up. And that's why I wait till I'm a staff sergeant. I'll take care of my whole platoon. Wait till I'm a company gun, I can take care of the whole company. And if you have that thought process, man, when I was in Lance School, we're getting ready to go to the field. What should I bring? Man, I'm gonna bring a football for when these guys do have some time off, they can toss a football. Just some kind of leadership process thought in your mind that how do you make it better for the next generation? You had it bad, you had it bad. So on boot camp, that's what they're doing. They have implemented some things like structured sleep. I don't know what that means. And if anyone's recently graduated, because we have structured sleep, lights out, you shut your eyes, shut your mouth and go to sleep. And typically you're tired enough that you do go right to sleep. The DI's got to be on deck for 10, 15 minutes. I don't know what it is now, but I think ours is 15 minutes after lights out and 15 minutes before lights out. The DIs are on deck walking around. And they walk around randomly throughout the night. And if they hear a noise or something, they're up and around. But the only time sleep was interrupted was if they had fire watch, right? And as far as I know, today they still have fire watch. I hope to God that they still do, because it's another learning lesson, teamwork, camaraderie. You're helping each other out. If you're the last fire watch, you're making sure everybody's ready to get up. First fire watch, just whatever. It's a teamwork aspect to it. Sucks for you if you have the 02 to 03 watch, because you got to get up and then you got to try and go back, whatever. But everyone's got to share that same misery, but it's an important part. So structured sleep, a concept that they have been implementing in boot camp. Unless they take fire watch out, you have 8.5 hours, right? 2130, light taps are still 2200 to 0530, whatever it is, that's uninterrupted sleep. The only ones who should be interrupting you is the fire watch, their check-in, or if you're up late, you know how you do, you put the blanket over your head, you got your moonbeam out, you're reading letters, you're writing letters, or doing something else. You're interrupting your own sleep. So you're offered 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. So I don't know how much more structured it could get unless they're giving some kind of classes on it. And then nutrition, guidance, and support. Unless they've changed the chow halls over the years and there's more junk available to you. There's 3 hots in a cot, 3 square meals. There was always good veggies, good protein, good carbs, milk, water, whatever you needed, juice. Everything was there. Vitamin C. They always had orange juice. They have those things. In the beginning, that first phase, do you get to utilize all that stuff? No, of course, you're a boot, you're a shower shoe. You're not getting the luxuries of the entire chow hall just yet, but you earn that. But it's still, you're getting plenty of calories. You're getting everything you need in those 3 big meals, all in about 6.5 minutes. So you better eat fast. So has boot camp changed? Yes. Again, till we're blue in the face. No, the concept of boot camp hasn't, but society has. What do you got?
So Anderson Ho was here and he says,
Anderson Ho, good to see you.
I remember Sergeant Henry getting in trouble with the company commander for having us clean rifles in a whiskey locker 4 at a time. SGI had to come in and he was irate.
Sergeant Henry? I worked with the Sergeant Henry. Anderson, was that the same Sergeant? Sergeant Henry, he was intense. He was good. So he was having y'all clean rifles in a whiskey locker 4 at a time. Was that because they were using a special sauce, oven cleaner? Was that the whole, was he hiding them in there or was he thrashing them in there? A little sweat box action. It's a good idea. Never thought of that one. But I was real picky about my whiskey locker. I never let anyone do anything in there except the whiskey locker recruit. A little OCD. Right? I was thinking about that the other day. Everything, every label facing the same direction. Everything's online. I had them draw lines. I had them mark the shelf, and if it changed, right, and it's just knowing you didn't enter the whiskey locker unless you were the whiskey locker recruit. Even drill instructors, hey, if you go in there, you check in with the whiskey locker recruit because it's intense, right? And that's back then though. We had a lot more items because of the boot polish, ironing boards, iron, starch, all those things that we don't do. The Brasso, right? Durglit, Neverdol, cleaning supplies, all those things are in there. So you didn't mess around with it. But Sergeant Henry, if it's the same one, he was awesome, amazing drill instructor. and I can see him doing something intense in there. Mhm. Or not.
Oh, Anderson Ho said, super chat, $10. Here for the inspiration, motivation, shout out, much love to the SFMF family.
Anderson Ho, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat and the bringing us back to Whiskey Locker antics. Remember, as a recruit, though, our Whiskey Locker, he was shady, shifty, out of nowhere. And as the guy, they used to try, be in there, what are you doing in there? Nothing. And he'd be sliding stuff, hiding. I said, I'll come in there, I'll rip the whole thing apart. And then he'd like bring me some cookies or something. That dude had so much contraband in our Whiskey Locker when I was a recruit. I don't know how he did it. He was good. He was slick, right? But that's how he made it through, and he helped other recruits make it through. Could you get away with that today in today's boot camp? I highly, highly doubt it. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks, Anderson. Appreciate you. And the nutritional part of it, nutritional value, we were talking about sending, I think we showed the envelope of a kid we know in boot camp right now, a recruit. Sending boxes, sending food and chow, and we would get cookies. As drone instructors, anytime you got a package, you just knew there was cookies in it. There'd be socks, underwear, cough drops or something, photos, and then always some kind of home-baked goods. We can't give those home-baked goods to the recruits. You have no idea what's in it. They could look like and smell like the best chocolate chip macadamia nut cookie in the world. But what else is in it, and what they make it with? And on the completely other side, what if they from a dirty house and it had some rancid yeast that they use, and everyone could get sick? So no home baked stuff. If you want to try it and your recruit tells you to, please send cookies packaged from the store. Buy some double stuffed Oreos and send those. Nothing home baked. And it's tempting as a drone instructor, and I know drone instructors that would eat it. But I was like, no, hey, you have no idea what kind of kitchen that came out of. It was from the dirtiest people. I'm not a germaphobe, but I want to know where that my food is coming from. Right? It's a whole house full of smokers, ashes dropping in the dough when she's making it, and sweat dripping in. No, I'm not taking no chances whatsoever. I want to open the package. But interesting. But those, again, in boot camp, it's easy and quick to say, today's Marines are a lot softer. Boot camp's a lot softer. It's different. It has changed with society, and it has to. It can't be left in the Stone Age, right? That mindset, that thought process is where I just came from. They're stuck in 30 years ago, how things used to run, and they were very successful. Probably had a great organization 30 years ago. A lot has changed in 30 years, except a couple of them old men. And that's what has destroyed that entire business now, because they're stuck in the past. You have to adapt and overcome, right, with the changes of especially society. So you gotta stick with it. You gotta detach, right? Every now and then, just stop. Detach, because you're getting complaints, you're getting calls, you're getting feedback from people, and it's primarily negative. Every now and then, you're doing a great job there. Most of it is negative feedback. That's when you got to stop everything, step back, look at it from an outside in, and say, wow, that is still our same phone policy from 30 years ago. Come on, get with the times, wake up. You can't be ignorant to changes that are happening daily, weekly. Right? Amazing when that happens, but it's also sad to watch, because again, it's worked. Where it ain't working no more.
Which one is this? Is that it?
Down, 2 more right there. All right. And that's boot camp. Among the other many changes, that one is just a small portion of the changes that they've had to change with society. The big change when I was a drone instructor, big change we had while I was there active duty, was when they were moving into the Crucible. I've told that story before. I was part of the think tank that was deciding the process or the do we need it kind of thing. That was the current drill instructor's complaint was no. The argument was there needs to be a defining moment when they feel like I just became a Marine today, right now, when I got to the top of the crucible, now I'm a Marine. That's much bigger than that. That's huge, and that's a great defining moment, sure, but boot camp, 13 weeks. And our argument was if you let the drill instructors do their job for all 13 weeks and don't interfere and don't, let's try this, let's try that, you can try that on a training company that's going to just try that. But everyday activities, let the drill instructors do what they know how to do. And then involve them in that planning process if you're going to make a change. But it's what?
Do not the cat is here.
Do not the cat is here.
Remember that name from
Yeah.
when we first started?
From way back.
Yeah.
Do not the cat. How you been? Where you been? Glad you're back.
It says, what's your experience with warrant officers and have you ever seen a CW5?
The question is from who?
Do not the cat.
Oh, do not the cat just asked, what's my thought on warrant officers? And have I ever run across a Chief Warrant Officer 5? My thought on warrant officers, you need to find my short on warrant officers. That's we wasn't even doing a short, but she was filming me. And she said, yeah, something about warrant officers. She's like, I was like, relationship? The relationship between a sergeant major and a warrant officer? There ain't no relationship. I was being funny because that relationship, first of all, it's different with the sergeant major. Sergeant major has such, and the first sergeant and the master guns have such a different relationship with higher headquarters, right? I told you I would do with lieutenants. As a sergeant major, come here, you three, come here, get in my office, sit down, close the door, and let's talk. All three of them is a 01, a second lieutenant senior to a sergeant major, 100%, every day, all day. And yes, the sergeant major should call them sir or ma'am. Technically, that's just how it is. But if those lieutenants are wise, they'll listen to senior enlisted advisors on a professional level. So warrant officers fall right in the middle of that. The enlisted and the officers. They're warrant officers, not commissioned officers, and they're not enlisted anymore. The beauty of warrant officers, and most of them take it to heart and are amazing Marines because they've lived the life of an enlisted Marine. They went to boot camp, they went to SOI, they went to their MOS school, they're in the fleet, they know what it's like to be a PFC or Lance Corporal, all the way up to Sergeant or Staff Sergeant, even up to Gunny. You can transition from that enlisted to a warrant officer. So by everything in front of you, you should be a damn good officer because you lived the life of the enlisted. Same with Mustangs. Commissioned officers that were prior enlisted, now they're commissioned officers, should be reading it, looking at it black and white. You got to believe that those officers are great. I don't want to say the best because there's some solid straight from college officers. But you'd think they'd have a little up on the game by being prior enlisted, how they take care of their enlisted. Doesn't always work. Again, recently, the last organization I just left, a prior enlisted commissioned officer, zero leadership. So what happened? When and where? But so my thought process on them is it's such that warrant officer, that chief warrant officer has to make a name for him or herself. Otherwise, they're going to get labeled as, what does a chief warrant officer do? I've never seen him or her do anything. They just kind of walk around, then they disappear, and then you don't see them again. They can do that, right? Because a warrant officer also has typically a master sergeant that works for him or her, and that master sergeant's going to make it happen, right? Do all the things so the warrant officer doesn't have to. And he's the oversight. The warrant officer is the commander that makes the final decisions, is also held accountable. So they have a very unique position. Now, when chief warrant officers are in the position of commander, like I had my first job as a first sergeant, my CO was a chief warrant officer 3. was amazing. He was a great commander, took care of the Marines and the officers, right? And we had about 3 or 4 other warrant officers in there. So his relationship and his and mine was great. We had that work relationship. He was my work wife. Anything he did that affected the entire company, he would say, First Sergeant, let me run this by you. What do you think? How will they respond to this? He says, and he used to always say, it's been a long time since I was enlisted. Do they still do this? Do they still think like this? So that's a chief warrant officer that has completely embraced his enlisted side and has accepted the officer side. Great warrant officer, great chief warrant officer. Some do that transition for the money. Plain and simple, they're out there. They do it just because tired of the enlisted corps, tired of poor leadership. So instead of staying in enlisted, getting promoted all the way up and changing the leadership, they're going to start to transition over. Maybe go from warrant officer to commissioned officer, which is also a process that Marines can do, and it's common. And we had a great one, a couple great ones that did just that. Enlisted, warrant officer, I think he got to 2 or 3, and then he went limited duty officer, LDO, and retired as a lieutenant colonel. So he all 3 gamuts. So that's someone we need to get on the show so they can talk about the difference between the enlisted, warrant officers, and officers. So back to your original question, what's my thought on them? I think they're valuable and contribute to the success of the Marine Corps. So in the engineer community, the warrant officers in the engineer community are now, they're drafters and surveyors, DNS, drafting and surveying. So they want, if they're combat, there is no combat engineer warrant officer. They had to switch their MOS to drafting and survey, which I knew a couple of them. I had one in Okinawa, one of my first ones, way back then when they still called all warrant officers gunner. We'll talk about the Marine gunner here in a minute. Gunner Price was his name. Great dude, great commander. And we worked in the construction shop. It ended up, again, meeting him again years later in Somalia. He had his same construction shop in Somalia, and I happened to show up with a platoon of a mixed platoon. Me and another sergeant took a whole platoon of mixed MOSs to Somalia, and he's the one I ended up working for. It was pretty cool. I knew him as a PFC, and then years later as a sergeant in combat. It was pretty cool. Learned a lot of valuable things from him as well. Another great example of a great chief warrant officer. Now, Chief Warrant Officer 5s, I do know a couple, and I won't even try to remember names. One of them happened to be a Marine gunner, Chief Warrant Officer 5 Marine gunner. I think there's only like 3 or 4 in the entire Marine Corps. The Marine gunner is the Chief Warrant Officer in the infantry that is the weapons and technical.
Ray's taking off.
Oh, Ray. See you, brother. Ray from Queens. Thanks, brother. Thanks for always being here. Get after it. We'll see you Wednesday. So the Marine gunner are infantry warrant officers that have to apply for it, be accepted to it, and then go to gunner school. So, and none of that is easy. The Marine gunner is the only chief warrant officers now you call gunner, and you know them by the bursting bomb on one collar and their chief warrant officer rank on the other collar. So it's the gold bar, silver bar with red inlays. That's their rank, their chief warrant officer rank 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then on the other collar is the bursting bomb. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I've had some great gunners in my last 2 deployments. They're a different breed. They definitely are a different breed. They know, not only do they know everything about the weapons systems in the United States, which is great, and a lot of infantrymen do, but these guys got to know every weapons system in every country that we may happen to come across. And then not only knowing the capabilities of the enemy and how they could use what kind of defense systems and artillery and bombs and whatever it is, they not only do they have to know that and understand it and understand the capabilities of the enemy, then they're the weapons advisor to the commander. So that now they got to advise the battalion commander, regimental commander, whatever level they're at on combat operations. So, which is great for the commander because he doesn't have to know all those things, right? That's why he has officers in each one of the different, the gunner, the mortar T officer, logistics officer, every line company, right? Everyone has a commander. So, and I do believe the gunner in an infantry battalion does have the freedom and flexibility and the respect, if they're a good one, to pretty much write their own ticket, right? You don't ever question the gunner, right? You just assume. Now, he's got to back it up in performance in the field. 29 palms is a gunner's heaven, if you will. That's nothing but training. But they got to know their stuff, right? They can't, they got to be there, right? As much as they hate meetings, and I'm speaking generalization about the gunners that I've worked with, awesome Marines that know a lot, highly respected when they back up their business. And it's not easy to attain the rank of gunner. So good on them. And again, I think the Marine Corps is very limited on how many Chief Warrant Officer 5s of any MOS that there is. My first, and even our S1 shop, the admin, we had a gunner there. He wasn't a Marine gunner. He was a Chief Warrant Officer 3, but back then they called him gunner. Warrant officers are not called gunners anymore unless they're a gunner. Infantry officer. All right. Great question, though. Did McJunkin's crew show up yet?
Yes, and they had a question, but got buried. So,
welcome, John McJunkin and crew.
His last comment was, we have some difficult news to share. One of our Poolees was diagnosed with early on sickle cell anemia. He's talked to his recruiter and will keep you all informed. What is sickle cell anemia? How does that affect?
I don't know if you didn't hear that.
It's a blood disease, right?
One of John McJunkin's crew, a Det Poolee, was just diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, and I don't know what that means. Some kind of blood disorder. So I'm guessing they probably told him he's disqualified. But again, you know what we say on this channel, everything's waiverable, and get a second opinion, get a third opinion, and find out. But so sorry to hear, and we'll keep him, that Poolee, in our thoughts and prayers also. But that's terrible. Yeah, it's not good news at all. MEPS, as you know, that's probably where they found it. And MEPS is,
John McJunkin said it's a blood disorder.
It is a blood disorder.
Was that a disqualifier?
I don't know. Yeah, is it actually disqualified? Is that what they told him it was, or?
He just said that he'll keep us posted.
Yeah, keep us posted. Again, I think timing has everything to do with it.
I just read an article saying this guy had cancer, he beat it, and then he came.
And then it's the follow-on treatment that the Marine Corps is concerned with for all the right reasons. That's why you can't go to boot camp with braces on, something as simple as that, because you're not going to have time to make those monthly appointments to get your braces tightened. A simple explanation, but any kind of medical support that you're going to need through boot camp, easy, 13 weeks. But what about a deployment, right? If you take meds every day, or if you have to have some kind of PT, physical therapy, or treatment, right? Something that you're going to require on a schedule, you may not be able to do it. One, in boot camp, then in your MOS school, and overseas in combat. So that's the concern. It seems, it's like, oh, that sucks. I can't believe they denied me just because of that. But you got to look at the overall picture, right? And what it eventually could cause, because it could put you in jeopardy as well, you the individual, if you don't get that treatment.
He said the recruiter hasn't heard back from the waiver that was sent in.
So they put in a waiver.
Positive. That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Fingers crossed. We'll be praying, and that's the route. Put in a waiver, and see what they could do. It's always second opinion. Always. Even I have zero patience, right? Shocker to the producer. Somebody tells you something, oh, I have to do that? Okay, well, just do it to me. Get a second opinion. Speaking of which, like getting my truck key rekeyed. The first person I called, customer service sucked on the phone, right? It was just poor customer service. And right away, I should have just said, thank you very much, hung up and called somebody else but that's my impatience. Yeah, I'll deal with your BS, but just send somebody out to get my truck fixed. Luckily, though, I was forced into patience and turned out to be a better organization, a better group, a better locksmith. Right, came out right away, communicated, fixed it in a couple of minutes, gave me a second key so the producer wouldn't lose my keys again. Now I have 2 keys. Great guy. She heard that.
Never driven that truck.
Again, back to leadership. That's all leadership. Whoever this guy's boss is, it's one of the leadership values that, hey, when you new customers, best friends. I'm telling you, that's what I told him when he left. I was like, I'd like to see you again, but I hope I don't need to see you again, right? For services. But that was because, in fact, he was the third company that we used. Because even the second one was a little, we'll get back to you. Give me your number, I'll call you. It's not any kind of customer service. But my truck's running. We'll go somewhere. Where do you want to go later? Cruise? Get some grinds after this. All right. Should we any comments or should we move on to housing?
Right, Mike says you're treading on thin ice. Never driven that truck in my life.
I don't know. She's gonna let me out of this.
It's the old truck, Mike. It's the 2000.
Oh yeah, no, it's the 2000 Chevy Silverado LT long bed. The bed is 7 feet long. Love that truck. Solid. 210,000 miles, 215,000 miles by now. Got it from the Smith family, Alan Smith, who took care of it, probably much better than I did. But it's a beast. It's a beast. I love it. Big tank. It has a bigger tank, 24-gallon tank, which my new truck, I love everything about it, but one of the things.
Digital too.
Yeah, and the new truck is all digital.
That would have been probably a couple $100.
Yeah, to get it
Easily.
Yeah, rekeyed for a new 2019. That's not new anymore. With Lay Cookie, rekey. Find out how much it'd be to rekey your brand new truck. Buy no Fords that blow up. Where's Big O? I'll be buying Fords that blow up on the side of the road. Mike did too. Lay Cookie.
Oh, that 350, what was it?
It was gigantic and it caused a big fire. Probably hazmat. Did you clean up the area where your truck blew up? Because I'm sure you left some hazardous material somewhere on the road in the dunes.
Jordan Hammond said he's checking out. So
Jordan Hammond, good to see you, brother. Semper Fi. We'll see you next time, Wednesday. Again, as long as I don't get in any trouble between now and Wednesday, we'll be back. We'll definitely
John Junkin says sometimes it's difficult for these younger generations to deal or be given tough news. They don't have the mindset yet to fully process the information that they're given. True.
Yeah. Again, can y'all hear when she reads those?
Kind of.
So what McJunkin is saying, and I'm right on board with you, this generation is not good at bad news. Accepting it. Oh my God, my life is over. I can't believe this. Instead of the older generation is, as soon as you hear bad news, you're going to adapt and overcome right away. That's just the thought process. I can't have it. Then this is the route I want to take. Or, that sucks, but we're going to continue to move forward. You tell a younger generation bad news and their life is over. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Is that a generational thing? Is that just parenting? poor leadership, right? The technology, right? The instant gratification. How about this? Again, how about when you ask somebody how to spell something? Ask your teacher, your parent, how do you spell this? Look it up. If I wanted to look it up, I wouldn't have asked you. I'm asking you so I don't have to look it up. Now, today, everything's, you can say it to your phone. Spell dictionary. Boom. So the instant gratification is the downfall of technology. Phones are great, but they also destroy. Again, go any restaurant nowadays. All you see, and how about the parents that are carrying 4 different electronic devices so they can go to a restaurant with their family and enjoy a meal with their family out, and all the kids are, boom. So they don't even look up the order. They don't even know where they are. And then when the mom says, okay, honey, what would you like? Oh, where are we? They've been there for 45 minutes. I don't even know what restaurant they're in. What? You're getting ready to say something. Read someone's.
So, J-E-U, Jew.
Jew. J-E-U, Jew.
Yeah, he's been there before.
Yeah.
He said, sounds like someone needs a liberal safety brief so they don't get in trouble until Wednesday. Rah.
Maybe a good liberty brief. Oh, it's Sunday.
And Alex Bali says, I think people have always been sensitive to bad news, but nowadays everyone has their phone in their hand with instant access to news. In a way, it's come to desensitization.
I like that too. McJunkin, did you see that?
No, that was Alex. Oh.
I know, but McJunkin, the second part of that, John McJunkin, is now
desensitized.
We're desensitized because you get any news you want, again, instantly. And now I'm sure I'm not the only one. Now when I'm looking for updates and news or something I want to watch, get my own personal update on it, I'm going to see how long ago it was posted. Right, 2 days ago, bro, that's old news. 2 days ago. And I'm looking for hours. And I'm looking for like 5 hours and less to get the most update. And that's how often people are posting. So if you see something that says 1 day, that means it's 1 day old. I'll watch it if there's nothing else. But that's old news. So we do get it instantly, that instant gratification. And we are desensitized with today's society. So much bad is happening.
Carlisle Vin says, the technology is an issue with the parenting. Unfortunately, lots of parents don't want to be a parent and let the phones do it for them. They're so selfish.
Yeah, having electronics raise your kids.
I get wanting a break every now and then, but when you rely
a break every now and then, yes, 100%. And I won't even tell you about Cece number 5 still doesn't have Wi-Fi, and she's in high school.
She doesn't have a phone.
She has a phone, but I mean, no. Yeah, either way, it's not. Our kids weren't 4 years old with a iPhone better than mine. And
Matthew Askren's here.
Matthew Askren is here. What's up, Matthew? Talking about kids being spoiled with all kinds of electronics. All about it for entertainment value when you're doing something that you can't focus your attention on them and you need something for them to do. But do they really need it? We grew up without it. And I remember my mom's friend saying all the same, oh, your son is so patient, so patient. I was losing my freaking mind while I was waiting for her, but I didn't dare act out. All I needed her to do was go home and say, yeah, he was running around acting like a fool in front of my friends, right? Dad would have a conversation with me in the garage with boxing gloves on. So I knew better. They never beat me. I never got beat because I knew better than to act like a fool. Today, that same situation would be the mom dumping electronics. Here, go do your thing while I focus on my friends because it's more important than it's selfish, right? No, bring it. And I would sit there nice and polite. No,
just the mom.
Dads too. Oh, just look at the mom's getting, yeah. Dads too. Parents in general. Has it changed society? Are we different now than we were 30, 40, 50 years ago? Yes. Good technology. What we're talking about today, we're discussing the life of Jesus, right? Way back BC time and then AD time. What?
It's BC.
Was it BC? Before Christ. What do you think those kids did while they were waiting for their parents to discuss what they're going to barter to get some food? Those kids were looking for water. They were carrying buckets. They were doing chores. So you can't tell me parents didn't raise their kids back then. A long time ago, got it. And technology changes, but society changes along with it. So where are we going to be in 20 years, right? When our kids are flying around, literally flying with their jetpack on at 8 years old. Right here, take your jetpack and just go. Fly around for a little while.
Remember we used to play football between the street lights, the poles, end zone to end zone.
Yeah.
Touch football, whatever.
Touch football in the street. When a car came, time, everybody moved out of the way. Game on, game on. When the car left, and you'd stare at the car as it drove by, like, come on. Baseball in the street, right? Stickball, sandlot kind, right? The manhole was second base, right? And the gutter on this, it just, I would love to drive through a neighborhood and apologize as I slowly drove past some kids playing soccer, football, baseball in the street. You don't see it. You go somewhere, you see kids like this. All of them laughing, joking. Some every now and then looking, oh, that's funny. Right back to theirs. Walking that way. I had to tell my kids no. They completed the triangle. I really want to just slap the taste out their mouth, take their phone. They would never know. They'd be standing there with the sore, didn't see anything. Had no idea what happened because they're so involved. Right? Drivers. How many drivers do you see taking? I'm guilty. I'm not no angel. It's what if I get a text, I'm gonna look and see who it's from. It's from the producer. I'm gonna find a way to answer it. I've been doing talk to text, right? So it's it's funny. It doesn't translate how we talk to each other. So sometimes I think she can probably tell when I'm doing talk to text, but it's safer. I'm not gonna be that guy to mow over a pedestrian walking across the street because I was looking down at a text. And you see people. I saw a guy the other day who looked like he was watching a movie. He had the phone on his steering wheel so he could drive and not miss any part of the movie. You out of your damn mind. You know how bad I just wanted to bump him? You got to be kidding me, right? Because he's going to be the one to run somebody over, cause an accident. For what? You can't wait till you get there? Stop doing it. Today.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Damon Hunter, when you said
Damon Hunter.
He said Wayne's World party time, and I wrote back Agon Rack. He wrote, we broke up, Stacy, a month ago.
Yeah. Wayne's World, classic movie. Wayne's World, classic. Wayne's World 2, nah.
Wasn't as good. But
no, Wayne's World, you have it. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. But you can't just watch it once and say, oh, really? That's not that funny. You got to watch it a few times. One of the funniest movies ever. I got $500. It's good. Classic. Wayne's World.
Zang.
Zang. I don't have a gun, let alone many guns, in order to necessitate a gun rack. Too funny. I've seen it a couple of times. VHS. We used to have to rewind it to watch it again.
Be kind.
Be kind. Rewind. Nothing worse. And coming home from Blockbuster, open up the DVD, and the bugger before you didn't rewind it all the way.
And
Come
you're
on.
the sucker who didn't check before you left.
Yeah, they would learn quickly to check before you leave. And the clerks would too. They'd get them. But they always don't check. It was backwards. Did it look rewound all the way, or was it played all the way? You got to spend your time waiting. Popcorn's ready. Zzz, while you're rewinding. Good times. Good times.
Necessitate. Gun rack.
Too funny. You gotta see that movie.
All right. So Sam Caceres says, "Good evening, Sergeant Major. Of all the places you were stationed, any place you wish you had been, perhaps somewhere in Europe."
Yes, absolutely. Who asked that?
Sam Caceres.
Sam Caceres asked, of all the places I've been stationed, did I wish I would have been stationed somewhere in Europe? 100%. Absolutely. I missed that side of the world, being a Marine, and I'm telling you, we did the West Coast Pacific Island thing, which was great. Loved everything about it. Been to Italy a couple of times with the military, but you're right there in Sigonella on base. I didn't get, never stationed, but I would have loved to, absolutely. And just ran out of time. The amount of things that the military can do for you, you just can't do them all. Would love to. I'm telling you, wish time would have stood still for a while to hit all those marks. MSG duty, talk about it all the time. I wish I would have had an opportunity. I even wanted to be a recruiter. Hello, recruiters out there. I wanted to, just and never. Timing wasn't right for you. Just there's not enough time. Right, but that's after 9 deployments as well. Huh.
The husband first said, "Did you have a Betamax?" And then Jew said, "I'm about to go eat dinner with my wife. 75 brothers and sisters. Stay safe, stay motivated." Then he said, 50-cent charge if you didn't rewind.
50-cent charge if you didn't rewind. As Matthew Askren asked if I had a Beta or
Betamax.
Yeah, it was Betamax or
just VHS.
Yeah, VHS. I never had the Betamax or never knew anybody that did. I always wanted to though. It wasn't as popular as VHS, but every now and then there'd be a movie on Betamax that wasn't available in VHS. Because I think it's like the iPhone and Samsung. Who gets a Samsung? But they have different benefits that the iPhone uses on. So no, but we never did the
Okay, John, I got a question from a Adept Poolees mom for Madam Producer Cece concerning family issues of Marines with her permission.
Do I have to repeat it or can they hear you?
They can hear me. Okay. Go for it. I say go for it.
No, you say it again.
So I got a question from Adept Poolees mom for Madam Producer Cece concerning family issues of Marines with her permission, and I'm saying go for it.
Oh, go for it. So ask the question.
Good job.
I got it. So it's from a McJunkins crew. A mom of a Poolee has a question for Madam Producer.
Wait, Matthew Askren said, I tried convincing my folks to buy Betamax, but they were too cheap. We had one kid in our school that had Betamax, and they're cute, right? They're little.
Yeah, they're smaller.
They're stacked everywhere, but nobody could trade with them.
Yeah.
Nobody could borrow. We all had to go to his house to watch them.
Yeah. Never. I don't remember anybody having the Betamax. Beta. We didn't. I remember we were one of the last ones to even get VHS. Now I think we still have like 4. And when one went bad, you just bought another one, put it on top of the old one. I don't know why you kept the old one like it was ever going to work. Like the TVs. I grew up with the hand-me-down big TV set. Remember that came with the speakers in it? Console, whole console set on the deck, flat top. Got it from my grandparents, I'm sure. And then when we finally got our own TV, we could put it right on top of that baby for the longest time. And when we moved, we would move both of them. We took the TV that didn't work, we used it as a table to put the other TV on. Crazy. Typical. Same. And in fact, I drove by a house the other day. It has the antenna on the roof. It's an older neighborhood, granted, and they still have the telephone poles or light poles or utility poles that have the wires coming from the top of the pole to each house. This neighborhood, there's probably about 40 or 50 houses at one road.
You know they don't have Spectrum.
I don't think they have Spectrum. No, one guy has a dish, but one guy also a different guy has the old antenna, right? That you have to climb up there and move a couple. And did that work? You don't have cell phones. How's that now? And then you go all the way back downstairs, and she said, it's not working. Why didn't you tell me when I was up there? I'm telling you, old days. So technology, great, right? You don't have to do any of that stuff now. So there's good. Maybe it's like an 80-20. 80% is good, and the 20% just ruin everything. Hopefully not. I'm waiting to hear the question. Huh.
Then old Jerry said, Madam Producer, we should meet her. Obviously a huge part of SFMF.
Old Jerry.
There's only room in front of the camera.
Got it. I'll move out of the way. Nope. Carrie Ann Marie Potts says it every time. When are we going to see the producer? What if I just pick up this phone and turn it at you? And follow you when you run out the door.
That'll be the last episode. episode.
Yeah, you'd really never hear from me again.
Okay, wait. Here comes John McJunkin.
All right, here's the
He
question.
says, Madam Producer, ma'am, what was your worries as two of your own daughters have gone on to fulfill or start their military careers? What did you do to get your mind off of worrying? Thank you.
Great question. I don't know if she's going to answer it.
Compartmentalize. I'm
Compartmentalize.
a military brat, military spouse, now military mom. So I think I've gotten good. I really.
Yeah. So
it's a like a skill, right? Like a muscle of strength that you have to.
Great question, by the way. And it's to any parent. And as a Marine, right? You hear me tell you guys, the Marines have the easy job because we know where we're going, what we're getting into. The safety factor, and you don't know if you're going to survive it. All those thoughts are there, but you know where you're going. You know what you're getting ready to do. The family has to stay back home and worry about that, along with taking care of the family. And I would always tell my mom, don't worry, I'm fine. Don't worry. How do you tell that to a mother when their child that they birthed and raised, they're going into harm's way? How do you deal with it as a mom, right? It can be easy, and I can't even begin to imagine. But I would be like, suck it up. They'll be fine. Who cares? That's what they do. Don't worry about it.
To just keep them all around.
Until my daughter joined the Marine Corps, and now she's going to be a cop. So
I want to keep them close to the nest, but what is that going to do for them? Trust me.
We've all be in a room this size.
We
usually are. So it interesting. And how do you deal with it? I'm sure everyone deals with it differently. Some have to be out and open and spoken in this clubs, in the sewing club and the flower club and the bird watching club, just so you can take your mind off it. If that works, that works. Some need to be alone, process it themselves, and go to the beach, whatever. There's you need to find your way, I think. Because when one of the CC girls gets deployed to a combat zone, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I'm probably going to try to get on the bus with them so I can go with them. But no, that's being a parent. If you raised your children right, then I mean you shouldn't worry, right? They're in God's hands, right? When USMC Cece, she's been on patrols. Already she's doing the cadet patrol with the TO, the training officer. Worries me. That's, she's excited. So like, okay, getting ready to go on patrol. Just my heart sinks. Like, don't make me fly all the way over there and rip someone's head off because they did something. You know what I mean? It's a parent. Not easy. And I used to remember my mom would get so mad. She's like, why can't you all be here for Christmas, for Thanksgiving? I just want everybody right here. I think I just talked about it. It feels like I just said it. Mom, come on. We have our own lives. We're not always going to be there for dinner. Circle. It's a circle of life. Man, it's crazy. They get old. They're grown, women, and they have their lives. I just want them right here.
All right, so bring some levity. Tony Molina says 2 things that shouldn't have left: the McRib and the M2.
Nailed it. Tony Molina.
And then Adam
or Officer Molina.
The McRib comes back sometimes.
2 things that should have never left: the McRib. And I'm a rib guy. And those aren't real ribs, but they're delicious. The McDonald's McRib is phenomenal. And it does come back every now and then.
Old Jerry said, Molina, last time I had a McRib, I was disappointed, but I still dream of the last time I fired a saw.
Another valid point, 249 saw. They jam. It's a machine gun, 5.56.
What does Molina know about that?
Molina's old school. He's infantry. Molina, have you fired a 249 saw? Or did you see it at the Marine Corps Museum? 249 saw, not that old. He's old. Great weapon. putting a drum on, the drum ammunition always seemed like the answer, because now you got 200 round, I think 100, 100 round box or 200 round drum, whatever. It's a good automatic 5.56 weapon, but good God, they always seem to jam. The key to it, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, too late because they're not in our arsenal anymore, was magazines. Magazines, I never had a problem with magazines. Always had a problem with the drum and a box. But you wanted to be cool, carry the drum or the big belt. Magazines, solid. But again, it's just like a M16. You still got to change the magazines out. But you're right. Should have never got rid of it. Huh.
USMC Cece said, defend yourself, Molina. And then Molina said, truly offended.
Thick skin. You got to have thick skin around here.
And then Randy Knapp said, the only McDonald's in all of Cuba is at Gitmo.
Really?
They have a McDonald's?
Interesting. Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Where?
Guantanamo. Gitmo.
Where? Say the whole thing. Say it.
No. Base. What base doesn't have a
Guantanamo.
McDonald's? Yeah, Guantanamo.
No. Guantanamo.
That was our one of our FOBs in Afghanistan. Huh.
All right, so old Jyrene says SAW was introduced in the early 80s to replace the M60. However, I love the M60E3. Dang, old Jyrene.
Yeah, M60s are way better. The 7.62, it's a bigger bullet too. It's much heavier. The A bag and the tripod is much heavier, but a much better weapons system. Love the M60. Echo 3, is that what we all had? I don't remember the different Echoes. I remember the barrel was different on one of them. Because he used to come with the gloves to change the barrel out, and then they added a handle on the barrel, so you didn't need to stop and put on the gloves to take the. Good changes again with society as our systems improve with technology, as do weapons and social media and mental health and boot camp and sleep studies and nutrition support. All that stuff is you have to change with the times. Iron sights. Come on, where's the Iron Sight alumni? They even made t-shirts that said Iron Sight alumni, talking about on your weapon system, iron sights. Yeah, I fired them. I qualified with them. In fact, my entire career, even when they switched over to RCOs, man, what an improvement. Any kind of scope versus iron sight. But us old schoolers, the iron sights are nothing. Should they still teach the iron sights and how to shoot with them? Absolutely. In case, what if your scope gets shot off or something happens to it, it falls off, you lose it. So be able to shoot with iron sights. But if you have the opportunity to get a scope, life changes for you. So why not? NVGs. Remember, for the longest time, it was like we got issued one per squad, one per platoon. And then we got one per squad. Not every single Marine gets issued NVGs. Some are single, some are double, some are head mount. But every single Marine has that capability. Why not? If you can make your war fighters better, 100%. Right? Just again with those GI Joes that start adding all kinds of crap to their kit. Now they're weighted down. Now they can't even maneuver. Right? They can't. Where is your weapon? Is there a weapon in all that junk you got hanging off that stick that you're holding? So be reasonable with it. But if it's going to make you a better warfighter, by all means, down for it.
Adam East said, hopefully we don't follow the Army's path for new weapons.
So funny, Adam East, aren't we checking one out right now? The MX, I just saw it. I don't remember where I saw it from. The Marine Corps is testing another rifle. If anyone knows, put it up there. I was going to talk about it, but it's still in the early phases of implementing it. I like how the Marine Corps does it. We're simple, right? Talk about this all the time. The MARPET uniform we studied for over 10 years before we purchased billions of dollars worth of them. I wish the other services would do that so they save our defense budget, our war budget. We'd have some money in there if these other branches. I'm telling you, there was a point that the Army had like 19 different uniforms. Navy was just as bad when they kept changing their camis. Right? Remember, for a while they had the blue camis and the blue suede boots. I mean, how dumb is that? You fall off into the blue ocean, we ain't never gonna find you. So it's take your time. So and I believe the Marine Corps does that with their weapon system as well. They take time.
Okay, so John McJunkin has a great question.
John McJunkin has a great question. Must be from Gunny Grainer.
He said, Dep Poolee Navarro asks, Sergeant Major, sir, can you explain what the importance of the GI Bill, or is it only a recruiting gimmick?
Wow, great question. Poolee asks, what is the benefit? What word did he use? Gimmick?
Gimmick.
What's the gimmick with the GI Bill? Great question. And that's really how I felt when I went through boot camp and the drill instructor said, sign here, you're getting a GI Bill. Aye, sir, signed it. And come to find out, they were taking money out of my paycheck, $100 a month out of my paycheck. And that's a lot when you're a private a few decades ago. And I didn't see the purpose in it either, but I did what I was told, and it was only going to happen for 12 months. So 12 months, that's $1,200 to have a benefit that can send me to college, 36 months worth of college for free. You get a college degree, right? A bachelor's degree. So that's the gimmick. There isn't a gimmick. It's a huge benefit for you to take advantage of. I don't know if they still do it like that. They take $100 out of it. I don't know how it works now.
I think that was the Montgomery GI.
That was the Montgomery GI Bill. She's right.
Now it's post 9/11.
Now it's post 9/11 GI Bill, 1,000% worth it. Here's how I know. I'm getting ready to use mine. We're getting ready to use mine because none of the kids needed it, right? You know their careers. We talk about it enough, but what I did was I spread those 36 months out to all of my dependents, right? We each had a couple months. Whoever needed it, we could just shift some more over, and if you need 12 months, 30, whatever it is, but nobody needed it, thankfully. So here it is. I have 36 months of post 9/11 GI Bill to use. That's free college. Not only that, they're going to pay me per diem. Is it called per diem?
I don't know if it's per diem or if it's the NHA
monthly allowance for housing. As long as you have to go in school. You can take some online classes.
in person.
At least one class in person. They're going to pay me to do that. Not only are they paying for the school, but they're also going to give me a stipend. I don't know, it's easier to call it that, money for me to go to school. So is it a gimmick? No, it's a huge benefit that if the recruiters aren't pushing that, that'd be my number one sales pitch. Well, you don't want to go to college? Don't worry about it. You can go later. Or when kids say, I want to go to college, but it's too expensive. I can't afford it. My parents can't afford it. I'm not going to go. You can go. Two ways in the Marine Corps. Tuition assistance. Use your TA while you're active duty. Granted, you can. There's other programs, but
I don't think you can use the GI Bill till you're out.
Yeah, you're not going to use it. That's why I use tuition assistance while you're active duty and take classes, get some credits. So when you do get out, again, either after 4 years or 10 years, it doesn't matter. Those college courses that you take for free because you're using tuition assistance while on active duty, you get out and say, look, I've taken these classes. I've been to NCO school, career course. I've been to whatever schools are. You show them to the college of your choice, and they give you credit for those classes you took in the military. And by the way, the college courses you took online using tuition assistance, congratulations. All you need is 10 credits for your associates. Boom, already on your way to your bachelor's. Then you use your GI Bill to further you upgrade your associates to a bachelor's. And just, it doesn't stop. Depending on which state you're in, has other policies, benefits for veterans. So not a gimmick. And the recruiters, if you're out there, those of you who may one day be a recruiter, use that as an incentive, right? Gimmick or not, you 1,000% benefit from it. So utilize it. Great question.
Oh, Dan, look at so Adam, he said that
Adam, he says,
he give it to his son, like he's already given it to his son, and then
Adam, he gave his 36 months.
His son is a baby,
to his son.
Right? Isn't his son?
Yeah.
And then he said TA paid for 75% of his degree from Texas Tech.
Tuition assistance paid for 75% of his degree from Texas Tech.
And then Nan Wen said it's a great option to get your degrees without tapping into your GI Bill. And then Demon Hunter says most MCI courses only count for low credits for community colleges up to universities, but you can get credit for like, right? Don't they have like?
Every college is a little bit different. Most colleges are the same, but you get credit. Yeah, I'm telling you, when I retired, I took 2 classes throughout my career like an idiot. I don't know why I didn't take more. Kicking myself now. Took 2 college courses. And still, when I retired, they looked at my entire record, and those, I don't remember which ones exactly translated to college credits, but it was stuff like corporal's course, MCIs. Some of the MCIs now can revert over. A college can accept those as credits. I said 10 earlier just for a random number, but all I needed was 15 credits for an associate's. So I took 3 classes. Associates, because everything else in my military career translated over to college credits. So Wen was just saying,
great option to get degrees without tapping into your
get your degree without tapping into your GI Bill. So tuition assistance. Now there's some. Go ahead.
So Anderson Ho says I got my PhD using my MGI
PhD.
Bill.
Anderson
Super
Ho.
helpful. It covered such a huge portion. I'm grateful for it. And then Wen came back and said, I got 2 bachelor's and a master's using tuition assistance and gave my 100% GI Bill to my son. And now he's using it for his college education.
Success. Awesome. Great testimonies right there. Live people that use those benefits. You have to take advantage of it. You have to be aggressive with it, though. And I wasn't. This is, again, one of those main things. I sound like a hypocrite. Really, I'm just jealous. I wish I would have done all those things. And I started to. Man, took 1 class, I took 2 at once, and one was too hard. As statistics. Come on, who likes that?
And I just seal, bringing a little reality and a little levity, is saying, man, I could have been a college educated instead of developed alcoholism, a divorce, and crippling addiction to rippets. But then he said, ain't no war to fight, ain't no excuse to not get your education while you're in Devils, right? So,
and I'm telling you, the infantry, the grunts would always come to me. Hey, no, I can't take no class. We're grunts. We don't have time for that. You have less time. Fact. It's just a matter of fact. You're in the field more. You're away from electronics. You're away from electricity much more than your average Marine. So it is a fact. Excuse me. We had less than my last 3 deployments. I presented degrees to Marines that completed it while on a combat deployment. So it's that you got to be aggressive. And instead that time, that last spades game, instead of playing that when you have a little bit of time off, college class, study, get ready, especially during those times when every school was supporting the military. So it's more difficult in the infantry and other MOSs too. I don't want to name them all, but some MOSs are easier to take college classes than others. But don't hate on them admin guys, right? Oh, look at him, he's a pogue, he all time. That's all he has is time. He chose that MOS. You chose to be in the infantry, so don't blame nobody. Just get after it. It's possible. I tell you, I had a first sergeant working on his master's in combat. Now, I had to kick him in the butt a few times to fix his area, but it is possible, right? He was pretty slick about it. Very aggressive about getting his Marines connectivity. If his Marines have connectivity, he's going to have connectivity, and he can do his college classes. So, but he didn't just get it for himself, right? If his Marines chose to play games and watch movies instead of taking college courses, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. No excuse for any MOS to not get yourself educated, not only in the Marine Corps, but let the government pay for it. No reason not to.
Well, this guy says, our WW2717 said, I got 100% tuition covered for state college while being in the Guard. I got 2 bachelors and 4 masters through the Guard program. That's crazy. That's awesome.
That's the Guard. So a little bit different. You have
Still,
more time,
yeah.
but still, it doesn't
But why not?
matter. Utilize the things they throw at you. Here's what happens. I'm telling you, when I got to Okinawa, all the welcome aboard briefs, and after we got hazed and went in the showers when our alphas, and after all that, the brief was, there's 2 types of Marines in Okinawa: the fit, educated ones, and the alcoholics. Which one are you going to be? And of course, I'm going to be the fit, educated one. As I went to Kenville every single night, spending my whole paycheck, and was the drunk for the first couple months until I figured out this is dumb. I didn't even figure it out. Somebody pulled me aside and said, "You idiot. Where's your money? You have no money. You're in shape enough. You're running every day with the infantry. You're not going to get out of shape, but you could be in that much better shape." Introduced me to the free gyms on base. Then I started to spend my money on protein, right? And creatine, the stuff that makes you stronger. But it's up to you. Those same master's degrees and multiple bachelors are available to everyone. They don't discriminate. Who wants it bad enough? How bad do you want it? It's there for you. I'm telling you, I'm not bitter. I'm jealous that somebody didn't pressure me harder and say, "No,
You can
idiot.
lead a horse to water.
You lead a horse to water." I'm telling you, it wasn't that we were never told. I was told, "The old guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I got to get out in town and drink up with my buddies." That was more important at the time.
Jared said, I was the alcoholic, bad juju.
It happens.
It happens, and it happens quick and easy.
Quick and easy, and that's why this community is here. Love y'all. This is some real life stuff, right? From the alcoholic to the multiple master's degree.
And Mike even said, do it while you're in, because life gets in the way of school if you work blue collar.
I've been putting off these courses that I'm getting ready to take.
Get ready to get after it, guys.
We're going to get after it. We've been putting it off. It's been over 10 years since I retired. Kept saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. In fact, the first couple of classes I took, paid for out of pocket. Idiot. I didn't do it while I was on active duty. And all of a sudden I needed it. Oh, crap. I got to take these classes. Paid for it out of pocket. And that was selflessly. I was still saving it for the kids if they ever needed it. But the production crew are all beasts and none of them needed it. So we're going to take advantage of it.
Jack said, Sergeant Major, first noted 0 flying sandbags in here, but from a very old course, still have the option of making the course thirsty. Hoorah.
Hoorah. Oh, good. I like it.
And then WW is asking, for your PME, did you get to attend the U.S. Army Sergeant Major Academy?
Great question. For my PME, did I get to attend the Army Sergeant Major Academy? No, I always missed it. I was deployed. 2 opportunities. One was just getting back on post-deployment leave. I missed the cutoff. Either way, no. I desperately wanted to. In the slim pickings, they sent like 1 or 2 sergeant major, Marine sergeant major to that academy, and it only goes once a year. Luckily, however, about a decade ago, or even more now, the sergeant major Kent, I think it was Sergeant Major Kent, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, started. I don't know who started, who finished it off. I think Sergeant Major Barrett was involved. There is a Sergeant Major Academy now for the Marine Corps. Fairly new. Maybe more than 10 years old.
Through high school.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years now. But no, I never did. I always wanted to. More so just to talk trash, right? And I heard it was pretty difficult, the Army Sergeant Major Academy. I just wanted to be the only Marine there, just so I can, bump people and talk trash.
Okay, Deb Poolees asks, Sergeant Major and Madam Producer, Sir, ma'am, picking up on the last question, so we will be able to use our GI Bill for our own dependents if we choose not to use it?
Amen. Poolees, just confirming, as the active duty service member, you can use your GI Bill or you can transfer it to dependents. That means wife and kids. or if you happen to have somebody else as a dependent, it's a
It
completely.
doesn't matter the age because Gunny East is doing.
And it doesn't matter the age. I think I did. The babies were small when I did it. Yeah,
Just be a placeholder.
it's so what it is. It's a placeholder, and there was a certain amount of time I had to make that decision. So if I missed the cut before I got out, I had to, and that's what I did. I gave each one of them 1 month, right? So that
36.
one of 36, you have 36 months. I just transferred each of them 1 month. So if all 5 kids and spouse, so 7 of us were sharing 36 months, or so it looked like. So we all could have went to school for a couple months each, or when whoever needed whatever, 9 months, 18 months.
So everyone had 1 and you had 30.
Yep.
And then as long
Here,
as
come around here and tell everybody. So all it was, it just gave us the ability to move them around.
Because you've moved them around since.
We moved them.
Because the 3 older girls.
They're dying to do that. All right. But yes, I hope that can clear things up for you. Yes, I'm telling you, I fully intended, because I didn't want to go back to school, right? What do I need a degree for? I've been a Marine my whole life. I don't need one. But nor did they. They're getting degrees just a different way. So.
He did say the Sergeant Major Academy now awards a master's degree for attending the 10-month resident course.
Wow.
10 months? Wow.
Yeah, I would attend
that's for a Sergeant Major. Isn't that different in the Army? Sergeant Major is.
I'm telling you, they should send.
Is that a commitment? How long do they have to commit after that? I mean, if it's a 10-month course, they have to have at least 2 years back on.
I mean, typical. Yeah, you're not going to send a Sergeant Major that's going to get out as soon as he's done. So you're right. There might be, because they're going to get a master's out of it, there probably is a required commitment. But how great is that? 10-month Sergeant Major Academy, but you're going to leave there after 10 months with the master's degree. It typically takes 6 years, 4 years to get your bachelor's, and then additional 2 minimum to get your master's. So how great is that? I wonder what it's in. Probably, obviously, HR or leadership or military, something. That's amazing. And that's, I remember when I worked at the Staff and SEAL Academy in Okinawa in the 90s, that was a fight that our Sergeant Major and Master Guns were fighting for. Because I went to some courses to be able to teach at the academy. I had to take curriculum development course, something about, how to give a presentation. I went to 3 different courses prior to going to the Staff and SEAL Academy to teach. So those 3 courses turned into college credits later on. And then the classes that we give, again, they've worked it out to where instructors are getting college credits. So it's great. No reason not to get it. Is a college degree going to make you a better leader, better person, better whatever job you want to do? No, could, maybe not. But businesses are still, they do still want to see that piece of paper. And the only thing I can think of is they want to see that commitment. If you're not going to, trying to be an engineer or a doctor, a lawyer, or something, a dentist, some of those that need the specific requirements. And Charlie Kirk used to say it all the time, like 90, I don't know what the percentage is, 75% of college graduates don't work in the field that they went to college for. So they didn't even need to spend that money on college or get the piece of paper. They went into a completely different field. So that happens. So do you have to go to college? No, but why not? Especially when someone else is going to pay for it. Do it.
Real quick. Raina Slow says Bala City misses you.
I know Bala Smetty misses me. I know he does.
And he also said Suzuki misses you.
Suzuki. Man, he's got to be in some kind of trouble. I'm sure he probably can't be on because he's restricted right now. Positive. He's restricted.
All right. And Devin D is asking, As a civilian, are we able to spend some time on base? My kids have never been to a base.
As a civilian, just straight up civilian, if you are a civilian, you just want to go on base, you have to be sponsored by an active duty or retiree. So your average civilian off the street can't just go, hey, I want to check out the base.
Why not?
Somebody has to sponsor you.
What if you want to go to the museum?
Maybe. She said, what if you just want to go to the museum? Maybe if you bring your life.
Well, what if he's been in before? And
So if you're prior service or you're retired, no MPs? Is there any MPs on here? I just know right now, or while we were active duty, if we had a civilian friend that was trying to come on base, we'd have to go to the gate, sign for them, sponsor them, either put them in our vehicle or vice versa, and that's how you get civilians on base.
Is that because they're going to our house? Right? Because what if they're going to the museum?
Mm-hmm.
They have a job interview.
A job interview, the place you're going to interview for the job is going to come pick you up and sponsor you on base. I don't know. Do you know? Is this a gotcha?
Devil's advocate.
Your average civilian can't just walk up to a base and say, I would like to access to your base.
You can't just go to the passing visitor, whatever, at the gate and just say, hey, I want to go to the museum.
Look at my face. So, to answer your question to the best of my ability, get someone to sponsor you to go on base. And there's organizations that do. If there's a museum that everyone wants to go, try to organize a tour of the museum, and that would get sponsored by MCCS, Marine Corps Security, Marine Corps Community Services. They would organize one. When they have fun runs, when they have things on base, civilians can. But like a fun run, for instance, we did the 5K flight line on.
Randy says air shows and public events. So on those.
So a fun run. Yeah. You're going to the fun run. So when you sign up for the fun run, that's when you put all your information on there, and you were part of the fun run. So at the gate during a fun run, you go through that side of your fun run. You have your bib. You show them your ID, whatever, because you're going to the fun run. You can't sign up for the fun run and go to the commissary and the PX and get gas. You can't do all those things. You're required to go to the event air show that you've signed up for. That's why you're authorized on base.
Okay, John McJunkins asking, Dep Poolee Martell asks, I was going to ask my recruiter this, but how much of my pay can I actually send home to my fiance? We're planning to get married in 2 years.
None. Don't send any. You better not send nothing. In boot camp, you cannot. After boot camp.
How much of his pay? It doesn't say boot camp.
Yeah, I thought you meant like while he's in boot camp. You need all that money. All the money you're going to boot camp is towards your boot camp because you need whatever. As soon as you graduate boot camp, you're in charge of your money. So you can send as much as you want, as much as you can live off of. She's your fiance, so you're not married, so you're a single Marine, so use the chow hall. You don't need a car, right? Use the system so you can send her as much as she needs. You can send it all to her. You'll need some money for hygiene and whatever. That's 100% on you. Just during boot camp, you cannot. Because all that money is dedicated. All those uniforms, all the everything you're getting in boot camp seems like it's free. They just keep throwing Marine Corps gear at me. You're paying for it. It's just you don't see it. It just comes out of your paycheck. But after that, 100% on you.
Okay, quick shout out to Busy Ditch and Michael's Drones.
Shout out to Busy Ditch, Michael's Drones, Mark Hankins. Good to see y'all. I'm not looking at the comments, so I'm not gaffing anybody. I'm not recognizing.
Okay, so Joe Natalie has a question.
Joe Natalie.
And he's saying, do you think using the rope in my backyard on my tree as a military-like exercise? It sits 11 feet up and I have to jump to grab it and pull myself up by just hands on the rope. Is that a good exercise?
Rope climb.
Military-like exercise.
Yes, 100%. Rope climb is part of, you're going to do it in boot camp. It is part of boot camp training at the end of the obstacle course. So it's a great exercise. What I highly recommend you do is, Pete, don't just go to the rope fresh. Very rarely are you going to just, for any kind of PT, go right to the rope and then do the rope climb. So thrash yourself a little bit first and then get to it. If you got to jump to this one and it's 11 feet, that's good. Everything about that is awesome training. But again, thrash yourself a little bit so you can climb the rope while you're already a little bit fatigued, because that's going to be a lot more realistic. Be surprised how many Marines can't get to the top of the rope. So it's an exercise you have to do often, that muscle memory, just holding it, just having the grip strength. Right? A lot of you have the strength in your arms and your back for the pulling, but you lose grip strength. So great exercise. And even if anyone has those, the pull down, I don't know what it's called, have them in gyms where the rope just rotates. It's pulled down, pulley. Yeah, it's on a pulley. The rope's on a pulley. Who knows the official name of it? You'd think I know. I like to finish up back day with that, because you reach up real high and you're pulling down. It's a back and a kind of a bicep workout, a little cardio. So I end my back and bi day. I don't know why I never looked up the name of it. Great exercise. And it works on your grip strength. And it's at the end of the workout. Last topic. Are we ready for last topic? Again, no clock. I have no idea what time it is. I just know my stomach's grumbling. I'm going to go to eat after this. All right. Struggles with identity loss.
Identity/loss or identity loss?
Identity with. Struggles with identity loss. That's post-service. So once you get out, again, I say it all the time, whether you did 4 years or a career 30 plus, 20 plus, doesn't matter. The identity loss that happens, no matter how long you're in, no matter what rank you were, officer, enlisted, staff NCO, doesn't matter. There's you lost all your time and grade, time in service, time and grade, gone, which is almost 100% your identity. Right? You say you get out as a sergeant, 4 years, you're a squad leader, platoon sergeant, you get out sergeant. When you get into the civilian community, nobody cares. They couldn't care less when you try to tell them you did 3 deployments, you're in charge of multi-million-dollar equipment. Needless to say, men's lives, none of that matters. When you're going to school or whatever career you're starting after that. Same with a sergeant major retiring after 30 plus years, and you're going into a completely different organization where when they see you, they say, "Hey, mister." What are you, mister? I've been called sergeant major the last half of my career. Are you kidding me? Nobody cares about that. So that's that mental toughness that you needed going in, surviving all those deployments or just active duty in general, and then getting out. That mental toughness on the outside is probably the hardest, because you're not a platoon sergeant anymore, battalion commander anymore, whatever you did, right? The ops chief. Nobody cares about it. I'm saying it just to drive a point home, but of course people care and they thank you for your service. And if there are other service members, you can discuss it, sure. But it means nothing in your new job. What you perform, that what you have in your heart and how you display yourself, your character carries a lot more weight than your old chevrons, right? In your old job, billet and titles. And I was in the garage doing some stuff, found some old company gunny, Sergeant Cece. I was like, man, if people knew I was a company gunny as a sergeant, nobody cares. So, except your spouse, of course. She loves everything about it, and your kids, and you're the hero. But just be mentally prepared for that. And learning over the years and decades, and maturity obviously helps with it. People want to talk about themselves. They want to tell you their platoon sergeant stories and their platoon commanders. And I took my platoon one day, and the company commanders, Captain America, I'm going to save the world. And this is where I took my company. And I listened to your story, and hurry up and finish so I can tell you my story. That's how a lot of people's mindset is. So take an interest, be mentally tough enough to actually take an interest, and maybe you can learn something from that story. Definitely don't be a story topper and say, well, oh yeah, you climbed that mountain with or I climbed, I think mine was 100 feet taller than that little one that none of that's important if you're okay with it. The identity loss is going to happen. It's not objective. Still, when I sign up for things, I remember getting out right away, answering the phone. Sorry, Major Cece. No, you're not. You don't care. I still have a sticker on my car. So it's identity loss to a point where you have to be okay with not being that identity anymore. And it's not easy. Now and my kids I joke, and they never call me Sergeant Major. Well, I take it back. When they were cadets, when USMC Cece was a cadet, she did, because that was the setting we were in, and I was the instructor, and she was a cadet. But it's never so much that, like, let it go, man. That's on you. You can.
Okay. Oh, the sergeant major this, the sergeant major that.
When your spouses use it, is even worse. Talking about, we knew someone that said, talk about her husband as the sergeant major. Oh, you mean Joe? Yeah. Well, that's how the sergeant major wants it. Who? We're civilians. You know, damn what he used to be. Yes. So it's the pot calling the kettle black, because I do. I have a sergeant major sticker on both of my vehicles, and I want to put them on my wife's vehicles and my kids' vehicles. That's just the pride in me. I'm proud of it, but I don't require or ask anyone to call me sergeant major. Funny, because my job immediately after the Marine Corps was in a JROTC instructor, where they did call me sergeant major. So I did expect it and required it. But if you're in a civilian community, in a civilian job, in the civilian sector, right? Can you imagine moving into a new house and your neighbor comes over, hey, I'm Bill, who are you? I'm Sergeant Major Cece. What? So there has to become, there comes a time in your identity loss that you just have to, don't wait to lose it, give it up, right? Just go ahead and surrender it. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm still proud and honored to have been a sergeant major one time. And I'll put it like this. When I talk to my seniors, sergeants major, that when we're all active duty, they were senior to me, I still to this day call them sergeant major. I make them call them sergeant major. When Sergeant Major Barrett, whenever I saw him after, and we were both retired, or texted or called, hey, Sergeant Major, bro, you don't have to call me that. I feel weird not, right? When I was active duty and colonels and sergeants major or any senior enlisted would retire, even after retirement, congratulations, Master Guns. Bro, I'm retired now. Still Master Guns to me. Even had this young captain when I went to the JROTC new instructor course. It's 1 week long. It needs a lot of work. Needs to be some more information passed. It needs to be more structured. But it was cool. It was like a get together of retirees. Really is what it was. 1 week you spent in Quantico, and I remember one day we were going to or leaving the barracks or something, and one of the students was a Marine captain, a female, and we talked about something. We were in the parking lot. I said, all right, have a good night, ma'am. She's like, ma'am? It's like, we're retired. I see you every day. You're wearing captain bars. We're in uniform. We're in a structured JRT. I didn't get it. Some people can just completely dismiss it right off the bat. And she was right, though. She was absolutely right. I said, you're right, ma'am. Have a good night. And left it at that. But it's that little bit of respect, right? Even close friends that we used to referee and stuff with a lot of different ranked people on the field. It was hard for me to call them by their first name because I know what they are. That's a little different because you're surrounded by other Marines and it's intramurals, and you don't want your rank known really to the players. that's you don't need them to know what rank you are. It puts a target on your back. So that was a little easier because it's for all the right reasons. But then we go out to dinner after, we go get some food after. It's captain and or sir and ma'am and whatever rank they were, master guns, ET. So a little bit of respect, a little bit of identity loss, unless you're in a community that like JROTC or ROTC or some kind of military affiliate place where you do wear a uniform and you do still carry that rank. So I've been able to drag it out for years. There'll come a time where I will be Mr. CC soon. All right. Post-service. Give me one.
All right. It says Carlisle Vin. Odd question, but was there any point in time before joining the Marines where you thought to yourself you'd regret not doing it before making your final decision?
Great question. What's his name again? Did you already zoom up?
What?
What was his name?
Carlisle Vin.
Carlisle Vin asked if there was ever a point prior to enlisting that I run the thought around in my mind, man, if I don't, I'm going to regret this. I'm probably going to regret this later on in life if I don't join the military. No, I never thought that. And here's why. It's kind of a trick question for me. I didn't know what I was going to do. No one in my family went to college. It wasn't even on the table. I don't even think the school counselors ever even talked about it with me. They didn't offer it up. They didn't let me know when college night was because they knew I wasn't going to go to college. So thanks teachers back then. Really, it wasn't on my mind to do it. My parents were in the food business, and my whole family was. We all at one point in time in our life, my siblings, we all worked with and for my parents in the food business. But I was the youngest one, so I didn't get the cool jobs. I didn't get to slice the meat for the big fat pastrami sandwiches. I didn't get to serve the tables. I was the one taking out the trash and cleaning the grill. So as much as I loved that industry, I didn't want any part of it. I just wanted to eat the food, but I didn't want it. So I knew I wasn't going to do that. So you would think I would have a backup plan. I didn't until the Marine recruiter got me. He saw me. He saw that. He told me he used this line and it worked. You got that 1,000-mile stare. I didn't know what it meant, but it worked. And I once I decided to enlist, I never went back, never thought otherwise. I didn't realize what kids realize today. The patriotism of serving your country, of joining one of the branches to defend your nation, to fight for your country. As much as I was doing it for those reasons back then, I really didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I thought, I'll work for my parents for a little while. If I don't. But once I joined, it was that instant gratification of, I'm going to serve my country. I'm going to defend my country. So I never once looked back thinking, am I making a mistake? Again, twofold, because I had nothing to fall back on. I really had either the military or jail. I would have been one of those statistics that I'm telling you, it wasn't easy for me to enlist. As easy it was for me to for my recruiter to convince me, he's sold. I was in. Just administratively, I had to jump through some hoops to make it happen. But never, to this day, looking you right in the camera, I never once regretted or doubted my decision at all. So it was different times. There was no war, right? Nothing was happening. I joined for that. And that's why I watched all the movies that my recruiter showed me. And that's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to be able to say, I'm fighting for my country. I'm defending my country. Say something bad about America. Let me see you burning a flag, right? I had that patriotism bug back then. Now it's 10 times as powerful than it ever was back then because I just didn't know. I never heard of countries like Iraq and Afghanistan, Somalia, barely knew anything about Vietnam, right? I had one uncle in Vietnam who had 3 back-to-back deployments, severe PTSD, never spoke a word about it until I was in Desert Storm. First time he ever mentioned it. So I couldn't use that as a guide to what I want to do. So zero knowledge of military history. But the recruiter, man, Sergeant Bryant got me. He would ask me to come. He said, come on, just come with me to the office, taking another kid. Or as you got to run the office real quick, you come with me, I'll get you out of class. You don't have to cut, right? He knew I didn't like to go to school every day. You expect me to go every day, every class? So he realized that just come with me, come to the office. And we'd go in, he would like gaff me. And after a while, I knew I'd go and sit on the couch and there'd be a new book, right? A new video playing, that VHS tape. He'd pop it in and it'd be Marines getting some. It'd be 8th and I ceremony. It'd be some motivation. And I flip through the things. I look on the board on the wall. Even back then, they had the same recruiter board with the same Poolees and the Marine pain is weakness, leaving the body T-shirt on. And I'm telling you, I would look at that and watch the movie and hear him talk on the phone. Good afternoon, sir. It's Sergeant Bryant. I'm a Marine recruiter out at, and I'm I just was soaking it all in. He didn't say a word to me except, you ready to go? I'm like, oh, yeah. Great recruiter, knew what he was doing, but that's what I needed. He could have talked to me in the hallway till he was blue in the face. I wouldn't have listened. I can't pay attention. There's too much going on around me. So he just fire and forget and walk in. After a while, that's what we wouldn't even acknowledge each other. I found myself going to the recruiters without him. And I would just sit on that little love seat. I don't know why they got a love seat. They don't have no big couch. Every recruiting office, just a little love seat with the coffee table and the TV, just reruns, just playing the same thing over again. Every wall is painted with the blue and the blood stripe right down the moto pictures, right? Every recruiter has their little moto desk with their I love me stuff, their little plaques, NCO school, honor grad, right? K-bar, just nothing but pure motivation. You're surrounded by motivation. So I just sat there like a sponge. Sucker, they got me. But it worked. Again, no regrets. To this day, amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank God every day that Sergeant McBain snatched me up that one day in high school.
Okay, John Paul Pagano says, good evening, Sergeant Major Dot. You remember me, it's been 2 months, but during that FLC course at Norwich, I got assistant squad leader. Had a great time.
FLC in Norwich.
The future leader course, what is that?
I don't remember what FLC stands for, but Pagano. Yeah, when did we talk to him?
A couple months ago.
A couple months ago, was it? It seems like it's been a whole lot longer than that. But awesome. Squad leader, right? Didn't he ask how do I get to be a squad leader or something? You didn't have a question like that? Good on you. Congratulations. I mean, that's where it starts, right? Right from the get-go. That's how you, and I'm going to quote there. Look, I'm going to give props to the Air Force right now. Aim high. Wherever you go, again, ask the question, we're running the PFT, who's got the high score? First question should come out of your mouth. Not, all right, we're going to go do pull-ups. How many do we have to do? We're going to go climb the rope. How many times we got to climb it?
What's the minimum?
What's the minimum? Right? Like taking a test. Right? What's passing? Really? That's how you're going into a test already defeated? We're going to go for a run today. How far do we have to go? Completely change your mindset. And that'll change. Mondays is Mo. I hate Mondays. You're deciding that. You're making that Monday be miserable, right? Probably the worst one that come on a Monday morning for PT. I'm already annoying everybody because I'm motivated. That's the mindset you got to go. Oh, hey, we're swimming laps today. I'm telling you, if you get it into your mind to say, how long are we doing it for, and what's the record? 100 laps, I'm going to beat that, knowing full well I'll never come close to beating it. But if you act like you're going to and you're trying to, you're going to get a much better workout. I loved, there's a couple of different exercises I love, and I always take the cadets at JRT, so I would take them on these runs where it's, you get out of it what you put into it. It's an old saying, something just old people say. The fartlek run, where, and again, it's just the guy's name, whatever, where you run, stop and do an exercise. And if we were limited to the track, I would do it on a track, because running 3 miles on the track, 12 laps is boring, right? You lose your mind. You try to run, you lose count, 12, whatever. So I'd like to do it anytime we were restricted to run only on the track. I would do the fartlek. Every time I blow a whistle, I'll tell you what exercise, or I'll tell you now, we're doing 4 exercises this order: push-ups, crunches, side shoulder hops, and whatever. And they run a little bit, blow the whistle, you drop, and it's instant. You drop and do an exercise, as many as you can do. Blow the whistle, you get back up and run. That is a group PT session with individual effort. That would be the first thing that comes to my head. Good. I don't have to go slow. It's 4 count push-ups. I don't have to wait for the back straight, back to everything. I'm going to thrash the crap out of myself. When he blows the whistle for time to run, I'm just pass everybody. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. I'm not the fastest. I can't do the most push-ups, but I'm going to act like I can. I'm going to get a workout. And when you see those same whistle blows, you know who you are. You kind of walk around looking for a soft place to, and then you work your way down. All of a sudden, boop, they blow the whistle. It's time to run. You didn't do a single push-up. So when you're offered the opportunity to go at anything self-paced, get after it. Get after it as hard as you can. Get out of it. You're going to, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out. All right.
Randy Knapp says, ask Gunny, how far do we have to go? The distance just tripled.
Yeah, I like that. Or how many do we have to do? All of them. That's that one meme where it says, all right, the company gunny comes out, company formation. I need 3 volunteers. One guy says, for what, gunny? I need 2 volunteers. You just volunteer yourself. All right. Great show. Did I hit the topics? Good to see everybody. I'm sure I might have missed some. I don't know. Producer was on it, but I didn't get to see everyone who's here. Prayers for all of you that need it. And I'm telling you, when we pray, when there are specifics, and when Malcolm's grandpa, David Brown, when there's specifics, we remember and name names, but nothing else. Faith over fear. We pray for every single one of you. We're grateful for your camaraderie, your companionship, your motivation. And I'm telling you, we wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So we will see you Wednesday. In the meantime, from then until now, God bless you and keep getting after it. Semper Fi, my friend.